Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dwiana Juanita. In this video, I would like to tell you about a short story, A Worn Pet. A Worn Pet. A Worn Pet by Eudora Welty is a short story about an elderly African American woman who undertakes a familiar journey on a road in a rural area to acquire medicine for her grandson. She expressed herself both to her surroundings and in short spurt of spoken monologue, warning way animals and expressing the pain she feels in her very bones. The character, Poinic Jackson. Poinic is our main character and heroine, though she doesn't fit usual description. The grandson. At this point, you might be flipping back through the story looking for the place where Poinix, the hunter. The hunter is the only person Poinix speaks to on the country pet of the pair. The attendant. The attendant is the first character to speak to Poinix when she enters the doctor's office. The nurse. The nurse recognizes Poinic immediately and she is familiar with her grandson case. The shopper. The shopper is a very minor character. All she does is stop for a couple second time. Plot. A Warm Pet is a short story by Eudora Welty in which Poinic Jackson travels into town to get medicine for her grandson. Poinic Jackson walks to the city on a worn rough path to buy medicine for her grandson. She knows the way by heart, made the trip many times. Conflict. The main problem in Worn Path was the long, dangerous journey made by Poinic, an old woman faced with the challenge of taking care of her sick grandson. Her grandchild should lie and require medication that was to be fetched from an instant town. Settings. The setting in A Worn Path, a short story by Eudora Welty, begins on a wooded trail in southwestern Mississippi on the Natchez Trace and later moves to the town of Natchez. The story takes place in winter of 1914. Theme. The main themes in A Warm Pet are racism and duty versus love. Racism, the other characters look down on Poinix due to her age, race, and class, demonstrating their own cruelty and intolerance. Analyzing plot. Orientation. Poinic overcomes obstacles as she walks along the path. Racing action. The racing action begins after Poinic faces her face obstacle, which make the racing action the longest part of the plot in the story. Climax. The nurse gives Poinix the medicine for her grandson. Falling action. First, when a dog startles her, Poinic falls into a ditch. Second, a hunter helps her up and tells her to go back home. Third, Poinix picks up and nickels the hunter's drop. Fourth, Poinix continues her journey and reaches Natchez. And the last, at the doctor's, the nurse asks about Poinix's grandson. Resolution. When is the resolution? The story is resolved when Poinic decided to get her grandson a pepper wine meal, then he home by way of the trail. Plot summary. Worn Pet is told in the third person point of view, in which Worn Pet follows an elderly African woman named Poinic Jackson as the Panthers toward a town. The story is set in Natchez, Mississippi, during the Great Depression era. As Poinik journey along the nature trace, she periodically encounters many obstacles, including thorny bushes, barbed wire, and a large dog, among others. She meets a hunter pocketing a nickel that he drops, and a lady who ties her shoes. The story concludes with Phoenix arriving at the town having completed the journey yet again. Her motivation for having done so is also revealed as she laments how her grandson Charlotte lied damaging his throat from the reaction. She tells the nurse supplying the medicine that the damage to his throat never fully heals, and every so often his throat will begin to swell shut. It is old Phoenix's love for her grandson that causes her to face the trial of the journey to town every time it is necessary, with no question asked. Moral message, race, and class in its definition of the journey of impoverished black women in Mississippi, Worn Path, explore the realities of race and class in the South at a time when slavery was still within living memory. The depiction of race in the story is not simplistic. Okay, that's all about the short story Worn Path. I'm so sorry if I have a mistake. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.